Hi everybody, this is Cody Smith. Welcome to my channel, Cody Smith, Pure Sport with Christ. I just wanted to say a thing about my book is I've been working on it for a while and I've made several drafts and unfortunately I'm having a bit of a problem where I feel like I'm kind of rambling and needlessly repeating myself. So I wanted to get my audience's input as to a way to guide me through it. What do you want to know? What's a good way to kind of set it up to make it understandable and make it an easy read, so that everybody can understand what I'm talking about, even though I will put, the actual like medical information in through some articles and things that I have. I will put a little bit of technical information in there just to let you know, but I will try to break it down by defining it to make it easier. I just want to know what's a good way I can tell you the story without rambling or you know, needlessly repeating myself, and what is it you really want to know. I just want to have that feedback and guidance from my audience so that you know what I'm trying to say and you can truly understand me. And this can be a bit more conversational, like two people talking, both in my videos and in my book. And I'm answering your questions. That is what I'm aiming for in the first place. So I wanted to get audience feedback on that situation. And because the point is that my story is about me with my disability and how the fact that such a concept as a disability exists means that there has to be a standard of human ability in order to mark, okay, this is the minimum. If you fall beneath it, then it's either you're sick, you're injured, you have a disease, such as, say, cancer, for example, or you have a disability, such as, say, cerebral palsy, for example. And then, you know, if we have a standard, we have to have a standard setter that cannot, by default, be human. And that standard setter has to have a mind and make a choice as to what that standard will be and what its criteria will be and things like that. And then for us to develop such things as illness, diseases, disabilities, injuries, we have to have criteria for that. And we have to have started with the perfect health, meeting this standard, and then something happened to cause us to fall beneath it. And that would have to do with the fall of man due to original sin, as in, we knew the rules that were put in place by the person, the creator who created us and the universe in which we live, who chose these things and gave us the rules and regulations. We broke them and now we're suffering the consequences. And that's no different than an earthly parent saying, okay, son, here are the rules. And if you obey me, here's how I'll reward you. If you disobey me, here's how I'm going to punish you. And since we disobeyed, we broke down. And that is why we're in the state we're currently in. And this is exactly what I'm trying to talk about in my book. And I want everyone to know that and to know, like, okay, if we've broken down and we're in this state and we're suffering the consequences of our actions, you know, and we're in a lot of trouble and we need to be rescued from this situation, then the only person who could save us from it is someone who is not in that condition, who has never sinned and has not fallen. And since the Creator is the only one who hasn't done that, then the Creator would have to come down to Earth through our level and live a life like we've lived while still not giving into sin and temptation, and then suffer the ultimate consequences in our place, which is death, and then, of course, defeat that which would require rising from the dead, not remaining dead, which is exactly what the Bible teaches. And this is what I'm trying to say is that having a disability is one of the consequences, even though my personal disability is not personally my fault. It is, part of the consequences. And if the Creator created me and is all knowing, all loving, all powerful, then the Creator would know in advance the good things that are going to result from me having my disability. Therefore, He allows me to have it so that those good things could eventually come about, even if they're not during my lifetime. They would eventually happen anyway, even if I'm not aware of them. And maybe it was, He allowed me to have a disability so that I could learn these things from experiencing it firsthand, and then I could do things that would eventually result in those good things over time and in time later. And that's ultimately what I'm trying to get at with my book. I don't really know, I'm just not sure how to phrase it. And I want to make sure it's understandable to everyone so that everyone could read the book. And I want to get other people's feedback and make sure I'm not leaving any blank spots and that people's questions and curiosities are getting answered, while also telling you the full truth without, you know, again, leaving any blank spots or overlooking anything or sugarcoating anything or, you know, making things seem worse than they are, because those are two extremes that I don't want to fall into. And since I can only speak for myself, I just want everyone to know my story as one, case scenario. And, like, here's a real life example. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I just want to know, like, what would be a good way to structure it and a good way to word it that would make it easier for everyone to understand without, again, needlessly repeating myself or, you know, making it overly complicated. That's what I care about. And I feel like I'm rambling and I don't want to do that. So I'm just asking people to give me kind of a way of phrasing it that'll kind of avoid that while also getting people's attention. And feel free to leave your questions and comments in the comment section and let me know what you think. Thanks everyone. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow for another video. Bye everyone.